There's a good few people funneled in now, so I guess we could get started and let the others join us as we get going. Thanks everyone for coming in today. Obviously today's session is on search and match. Just a bit of housekeeping first. As always, this session will be recorded. We will share the recording out with you afterwards. We'll keep everyone on mute for the duration of the session. There is a Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. Please feel free to use it. If we don't have time to get to it in today's session, we'll try and get back to you afterwards. So without further ado, we'll get started into it. So as I mentioned, today is all about finding top talent using AI search and match. We'll get into the details of that in a moment, but my name is Megan Lynch. So if you don't know me, I'm a customer success manager in the enterprise space here at Bullhorn. In my role, I work with agencies in adopting technology to make the most of the technology that they have at their hands to streamline their processes. I'm seeing a lot of people starting to use AI in a lot of different ways, and I'm excited to be able to share some of the insight as to how search and match is working today. Now with me, I also have Jonathan.
Hi everyone, I'm Jonathan, solution consultant, so essentially work on the pre-sale side, doing the demonstrations and as a product expert.
Oh, great. All right. Well, jump into this part. So as you know, this is part of a series of AI webinars that we're doing. We've done a few getting started with AI, what Bullhorn's vision looks like. Eric ran that one a few weeks ago. More recently, we had this AI screening webinar where we took you through what it looks like to leverage AI for the screening process in the recruitment workflow. And this one's going to be focused on how can you use AI to better find candidates throughout the process. So how can you actually leverage AI to make it a way quicker, faster, smarter process to go out and find those candidates? Now, to get started, I actually want to send it to you guys. Ask you a question. In your current state today, I'm going to make the assumption that most of you are not using AI in the process today. How much are you actually going into Bullhorn and running that search inside your database before you're going out and finding candidates from job boards? So if you can answer the poll, let us know what you think. I'm interested to see what the split will look like here. Jonathan, I don't know if you have any guesses on what the results will be like.
Well, I think I'm like I would hope it's daily, but I'm thinking it's probably the third option.
I think we'll have a split, right? There's probably people that are hopeful their people are going to the database, but then in reality, perhaps there are a few recruiters on here that maybe go out to job boards first. We'll give it a moment to get some results coming through. All right, and here they are. Quite a mixture, actually. I guess the one taking the majority, almost 34%, say that they only search the database when you can't find anyone else through job boards, and a split of those that are going through daily. So yeah, as predicted, quite a different split of this here. Today's session, I'm going to go through what it potentially looks like in future when you're leveraging AI in this process. And I think it will completely change the game and how much time we're spending looking for candidates. Because no matter whether you're going to your database or whether you're going out to job boards, right? Recruiters are spending so much time looking for candidates. So a lot of you probably are already aware, Bullhorn does grid research every year. We go out and ask thousands of recruitment agencies across different verticals, regions, all over the world to understand, okay, get a bit of a pulse check on the market. This is a bit of insight that we got from this year's result, which is recruiters are spending on average 14.6 hours of their week looking for the right candidates. That's insane. That's nearly half. And it's not uncommon for us to hear people saying actually half of the week is spent just searching and searching and searching for candidates. And I think what makes this quite challenging for recruiters now as well is that they're expected to do everything so quickly. We also know from the research that 80% of candidates want to be placed in less than 20 days. So that is quite less than 3 weeks, right, from meeting that candidate to getting them in a job. And we also know that more than 2/3 are going straight onto job boards as well after chatting with agencies. So they're taking a multi-pronged approach. It's a really tough space for recruiters to work in. But if we think about, we also asked about the top use cases for AI, and looking ahead, search and match is clearly where AI is really going to shine. If we look at the recruitment landscape and where the pain points lie versus what the opportunity is with AI, agencies told us that search and match is the primary tool that they're looking towards. That's the North Star. This is what they really need to leverage to save on time. And that absolutely makes sense when we think about 14.6 hours spent per week obviously that's going to be top of mind for trying to reduce or increase your efficiencies, I guess. But this does come with its challenges. I want to point this out as well. It's important to talk about the road to get there. We talk about how cool these AI tools and how much is coming and how much potential there is with it, but please do not be fooled. You cannot just switch on an AI tool and immediately have every efficiency you've ever dreamed of, and it's just this nirvana state of it, right? There are still a lot of barriers here that are a concern for recruiters when it comes to getting involved with AI. But I think as this chart shows, the number one concern here is actually the quality of data. That's what's taking the cake. And this is incredibly important because we've talked about this for years, right? When it comes to searching, it's data in, data out. Having a really good quality database has been so important for being able to search across that. That doesn't change because AI is still having to look at some data points. You still need to have a solid foundation of data points there. The good news is there is also AI tools that can help solving these problems, improving data quality. Stay tuned for some other webinars that we'll be running around how that works. But I want to do a bit of a reminder from the last session and talk about the foundations of what you need to do in order to be ready to adopt AI. So you may remember that the others covered this in the last session, but being able to, at a baseline, set up digitization. And this doesn't mean you've got a system that you're dumping data into, right? This means actually having a system there that streamlines your processes, has data ready for anyone in your business to be able to leverage, right? Then it's about layering on top of that. Are you automating the process? Automation has been critical for the success of adopting AI because it provides the necessary infrastructure that you need to actually enable AI down the track, right? So if you're not already if you don't already have a digitized workflow, if you're not already automating on top of that, go back and start with the basics. But once we've got that in place, we can start to add AI on top, whether it's user-driven or whether it's autonomous AI. The benefits, as you can see up the left-hand side, they're huge. And if we talk about that in the sense of the bottom line, I'll show you here the benefits just start to compound. Say you've got 10 placements made just from a digitized space, but when you start to automate on top, in the same amount of time, you can be making that many more placements. And as we layer these efficiencies on top of each other, we're talking just this example, but double the number of placements that you're making. That's pretty huge. So as we kick into this, I want to talk about why it's so important to unlock the value of your database. Like we saw in the poll before, we're getting quite a mixture of people that are going to the database versus going externally, but you've got to get it right from the start with that data in, data out, like I was talking about. We know that 2/3 of externally sourced candidates, so when you're going out to Seek, to LinkedIn to find those candidates, 2/3 of them are already in the database, according to the data that we've pulled across our customers. So you can save so much time in going out to those external job boards, but also money, just by working with the candidates that you've previously engaged with. We also know that 85% of candidates, this is from the grid data, 85% of candidates that we spoke to told us they would work with their agency again if they were sending out new opportunities. So candidates also want you to be reaching out to them after you've worked with them in the past. Keep reaching out. Let me know when there's new opportunities that are coming through. So redeploying talent within your database also provides huge time and cost benefits. So it is more and more important to be searching your database before you go externally. And as we start to develop the tools that we've got available, it gets pretty exciting in the ways that we can do it. It makes a whole lot more sense to be searching your database now. There's two different ways that we're executing on this functionality when I talk about AI search and match. We're going to get into the juicy details now, right? There's the interactive way. So this means the recruiter is involved and they'll be able to actually go, okay, I've got this search. Let me use AI to build the search and run it and find the top candidates. And I can work with that search, adjust it based on what I'm looking for, while still leveraging AI. And then there's the fully automated way. So this is about, okay, as soon as I have a job land in my lap, can I have my system automatically go across the database, scan it based on all the information that I've got about the job, and return to me the top match candidates that are a best fit for the role. I've immediately got them in my lap and I can start talking to those candidates, reaching out, seeing if they are actually interested in the role. So this is a whole other level that we can get to, which talks about, okay, what does these stages actually look like once we've executed on the necessary steps and building in AI into that searching workflow? Well, AI is doing all of the heavy lifting throughout this process now. match the top candidates to the job. I've added the job in and they're already there. I can then, if I want to go and find more candidates, I can use AI to automatically expand on my search, keep building out those keywords and help me to expand on the search more. I can enrich the searches with more related terms. So I don't necessarily need to be thinking of all of the similar job titles that would be relevant to pull into it. I can have it doing that for me. And then the next step is automating it. So in theory, we've run these searches. We've got really rich searches that have been built out with AI. They're incredibly complex. It hasn't required any recruiters to know Boolean logic and apply that. It's done it all for you. Then we can automate it. I can be automatically notified anytime a new candidate pops up for that main search that I've got running in the background. Maybe I'm always looking for forklift drivers, or maybe I'm always looking for Java developers. I can be notified as soon as a new one falls into my database. So this is to give you an idea of what that looks like now. We have smarter searches. Our matching engine has outcome-based ranking. So it's surfacing the best candidates from your database. You don't have to be a Boolean expert. You don't necessarily need to have spreadsheets with those different search terms that you need to pull across into your search. Then it's also becoming easier. We now have recruiters starting day one, maybe never been recruiters before. They've immediately got a leg up to being almost as good as your very experienced recruiters. And having transparency into that search has been critical to be able to continuously educate those recruiters as well. Our goal is to be able to make this as easy to use as it is to pick up your phone, while still giving you a lot of flexibility, a lot of power for your business admins. And finally, it's just so much faster. You're giving your recruiters tools that remove such repetitive, very basic tasks in their day-to-day. We're not looking to replace recruiters. We're actually looking to just increase their efficiency, have them spending time on what actually matters and what they're actually good at, and remove all of that busy work. There's 14.6 hours spent per week searching for candidates. So if we can narrow that down, that's a huge win. So before I hand off to Jonathan for the demo, I'm just going to give you a bit of an idea of, if we lift up the hood, what's actually happening in the background when we're auto building these searches. Well, we have the auto build as the first stage of this, right? Auto build a search from a job. So understanding the job description and immediately start to build that search based on what a star recruiter would be doing in the background, would be doing if they ran the search themselves. It extracts all the best keywords, perhaps the job title, and then it's further enhanced using keyword expansion. So actually going in and automatically adding not necessarily just synonyms, but also going to our whole library of related terms, different keywords that we can apply to the search to make sure that we're covering all bases. These are all expanded and enhanced, of course, over time as the industry changes and new keywords come in. For example, IT is a space that is constantly evolving. We're constantly getting new programming languages that are relevant to that sort of space. So this model also learns and grows alongside that, and we'll continue to add those keywords in. Well, once we've built out that search, the next step is into the matching side of things. So this uses the context of the job and that auto build. We're now able to unlock the Bullhorn matching engine. This is using the context across everything from the job title to the description, and it ranks those matches for you. It's determining the relationship between all of this data and then uses it to predict the outcome. If we're understanding the job, understanding all of our candidates, and then understanding, okay, who is most likely to be the best fit for this role and most likely to be placed. And once we piece all of this together, it looks like a good quality list of matched candidates that we are confident will be right for the job. So that's the summary of it. Jonathan, I'm going to hand it over to you to actually take them through what it looks like.
Awesome. Thanks, Megan. I'll just pop over to my Bullhorn right now. And where I want to go with this demo is I want to look at this from the perspective of a recruiter using Bullhorn with the AI search and match enabled. Now, as a recruiter, I bring in this job, and it's this senior software engineer. With this senior software engineer job, I have this job description, which is written out here. Initially, what Search and Match does is it analyzes the job description, finds keywords that it deems are necessary for a candidate to be successful, and then it lists these key terms against the candidates in the database. Once this is all done, AI ranks the candidates based on things like their CV and job title against the job description, and it then recommends me the top 10 candidates on the job itself. So immediately, once I bring a job into Bullhorn, I have a list of top candidates ready to go. I can have a look through these top candidates using the slide out, and some of them look good. For instance, Darren here looks like he might be a good fit for the role. But just to be sure, I want to check out the full list to make sure that I'm choosing the right candidates. So I proceed to hit show me all 23 candidates here. This takes me through to our new search UI, which you might notice it might look a little bit different to what you currently have. If you don't have this new UI yet and you want to get access, just reach out to your account manager to get a bit more info on that. But essentially, what this brings is improved speed in the search, the same intuitive sort of functionality we've always had. And now with AI search and match, you also have new relevancy score colors in the traffic light system, which just makes it a lot more obvious for your consultants to understand which of these candidates are the best fit. To focus back on the actual candidate search here, though, I want to see what the search and match tool actually picked out from the job description. So to do this, I click into the search bar. And initially, what you can see is our AI search and match gives a really good starting point by auto building a search for me with three key terms here that are really relevant to the job: senior software engineer, cloud engineer, and Java as a coding language. By auto building this out, this also potentially saves me some time as I don't have to build out the old typical type of Boolean string manually. Instead, auto build already does this for me instantly. However, this looks like a pretty basic search. And if I was only searching on 3 words, I'd probably be missing out on a lot of candidates inside of the database. How our search and match tool improves on this is through our keyword explorers. So if I click into senior software engineer, what you can see here is that this allows me to search on not just the initial term, but also semantically similar or adjacent job titles and skills. And this helps me build a better search by both narrowing and broadening my search at the same time. What I mean by that is I'm able to narrow the search down by looking at candidates with the specific integral skills that we deem are necessary to be successful for the job. I'm also able to broaden the search by accessing a wider pool of candidates that may have all the skills needed, but have just expressed their skills a little bit differently and potentially have expressed their job title differently depending on how their company outlaid that. This allows me overall to access really great candidates I previously might not have found and potentially also find more placements from existing candidates in our database, again, rather than having to search externally. If I want to search for more key terms instead of having to type out a long Boolean string manually, I can also add other keyword libraries in the same way that the auto build has done. For example, if I want to find someone with financial tech experience, I can type this in and access other keyword libraries to search our database. And when I do this, you'll see a list of other keyword libraries expand as part of this, which I can access. You'll also notice the location is pulled from the job. So all of the candidates are based in the correct region as well. And if I want to change this or add other filters, I can still do so to filter the search further. Once I've decided on the best candidates for the job, I can push these through to the job from the list view and start the next placements from here, just like how you would typically do in Bullhorn today.
I guess to jump in on top of that as well, Jonathan, so you've just taken this directly from a job. So you've the job's landed in your lap, you've added it into Bullhorn, and then you've immediately gone and built this search to see a result of those candidates. But what about in the scenario, say, where I want to check my database for a type of role that I hire all the time, but I don't necessarily, it's not a job that I've just added and I'm working with. Is there some way that you could show that we build this from the candidate list view originally in the first place?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're just on the candidate list view, and let's take a scenario here that one of your clients has just asked for similar people in the same role that you hired for them a few months back. You can auto build a search straight from the search here as well to allow you to again do that quick search and use the search and match tool not just from the job itself but also from the list view.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that's one I see really commonly is recruiters that don't necessarily go and start from scratch with their searches, but they want to be able to look at, okay, similar candidates, find a candidate similar to that one that I placed at that particular role. So being able to go back to past jobs and actually applying that search from there is also really powerful.
Absolutely.
Cool. All right. Thanks for that, Jonathan. Before we wrap up, I also want to cover off that amplify content. So it feels like a bit of an elephant in the room. Recently, Bullhorn hosted our Engage event in Boston. So a lot of you are probably familiar with Engage. We promote it a lot, and we have one in Sydney, which happened back in March. We had our Boston event happen just a couple of weeks ago, and we launched a whole lot more content around what we're doing with AI. The thing with our AI strategy, it is just continuing to evolve and change as we go. And I think that's a great spot to be in, where we're watching what the needs of our customers are, what's available out there in the market, and what is going to be good for the pain points that our customers are having right now. This is the latest iteration of our AI product suite. And as the main difference that you'll see in front of you is that there is a whole lot more features here. This is our next generation of AI solution. So this is exclusively built for recruitment industry. And the idea is it's ready to support your teams across whatever task it is and any time of the day, any day of the week, right? It operates with these skills that are written out in front of you of your top performers. So those top recruiters with loads of experience, but it's able to scale it and it's able to work around the clock. So you can extend your reach, really improve the speed and the quality of every single part of it, whether it's searching, screening, your submissions. There is so much more to it now, and it's really building out the extensibility of the tool. But I think what's also quite different about this new approach that we're having, if I jump to the next one, is that customers can now leverage Amplify is what we're calling our AI suite now, rather than before we called it AI agents. Amplify can be leveraged in two ways. We can do it autonomously. So that's as we've known it, and we've been talking about it for quite a few months, where you can automatically have the matching tool go out and match candidates, or you can automatically go out and screen those agents, screen your candidates, sorry. But we've also got a new interactive human-driven way where recruiters are actually in the driving seat. They're deciding where to apply AI, when to apply AI, and how to leverage all of these skills throughout their own desk. So the real difference is this now lets you make those choices. You get the full power of automation without actually sacrificing the oversight. And I think that was a real barrier that we had before. Understandably, recruitment agencies were quite nervous about deploying AI because there was concern that you were losing control over what's happening within your business. So now Amplify enables you to automate where it makes sense. Automate where you are most comfortable with utilizing AI. And then you've got a user-led approach where you're also able to tailor this. You're able to deploy it where it makes sense for you and where you do want to have that control. So what I'm particularly excited about this offering is that it is not a one-size-fits-all solution. It's able to be tailored. It's incredibly flexible, and it can adapt to your business, to your teams, to your goals. So as we wrap up, I think it's quite important to highlight that Amplify is not designed to replace your recruiters. Rather, it is just designed to give them the efficiency that they need to do more of what really, really matters. And that is spending time with doing the high value work, the things that apply human touch to the recruitment process, and what really makes a differentiator for your businesses. So I'm particularly excited about this one. And it helps us, if we jump onto the next slide, the end goal is to just have AI infused everywhere throughout the recruitment workflow, for you to be able to pick up on AI tools where you need it most and where it makes the most sense for your business. So with that, I can see there are a couple of questions in the Q&A. They look a little bit specific, so I am going to take those offline, and we will get back to you separately. And Jonathan, unless there's anything else, I think we'll wrap up and give everyone 5 minutes back in their day.
Sounds good. Thanks for joining, everyone.
Well, thanks everyone.